Hey, how's it going everyone? Count Jinsula here with a brand new Pokemon Go video. I hope your day is going really well, and let's get right into it. Alright, so 2024 is coming to a close. This was definitely a very interesting year, especially for Pokemon Go players. We got ourselves a lot of different new features like Gigantamax Pokemon and Dynamax battles, as well as the Wild Area event making its debut during this year. And I really feel like the Wild Area event had a lot of really good precedents. They introduced mighty Pokemon into the game, and they also introduced a lot of different things that are definitely going to be interesting in future events, like Safari Balls. So yeah, I do think 2024 was a bit of an interesting year, but there was a lot of different ups and downs. There was certainly a lot of things that Niantic did in 2024 that was very unpopular, and I really do think that for 2025, there's a lot of positive changes that Niantic could definitely make. So I really wanted to talk about that in this video. I kind of wanted to list off a couple of wishlist items that I had for Pokemon Go in the year 2025, and I really do think a lot of this stuff would vastly improve this game. So the first half of this video is going to be mainly gameplay related stuff, mainly quality of life improvements or different changes I would like to see to Pokemon Go. And I do think that for a lot of this stuff, it's things that a lot of players have been asking for a very long time, so hopefully Niantic will deliver. And then the second half of this video is going to be specific Pokemon and specific types of Pokemon, which I think would be a great addition to Pokemon Go. Hopefully a lot of the stuff that I'm going to be mentioning is going to be actually added into Pokemon Go in 2025, but we'll just have to wait and see. I do have my doubts that Niantic will make positive changes because the trajectory that they've been going down has been pretty negative in my opinion, but it is really subjective. I think a lot of players are still enjoying Pokemon Go for the most part, but I do think the game could be a lot better. So yeah, with that said, let's get right into the list, and if you end up enjoying this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, it would help me out quite a bit. And yeah, let's get right into it. Starting off, I think it goes without saying that we need to have better monetization in Pokemon Go in the year 2025, because when it came to 2024, they implemented a lot of different things in terms of monetization that was very negative. I really do think that they went overboard when it comes to all of the in-app purchases and all of the different things that they are offering. And I think for a lot of Pokemon Go players, they want to see this get alleviated. I really do think that monetization is a very fine line when it comes to mobile gaming. And if Niantic does not walk that line in a very proper way, then a lot of players are going to end up quitting the game, and I would hate to see that. I already made a video talking about this ad nauseum, but I really do think this is a very important thing for Pokemon Go. They need to fix up the monetization. They need to cool it off with all of these special research tickets and bonus tickets that they're offering with every single in-game event, and they need to cease paywalling different content, like all these new Pokemon and new shinies being completely locked behind egg hatching and special research tickets. All of that needs to stop in 2025. Now, another wishlist item that I have for 2025 is improvements to the Buddy Adventure system. This is one area of the game that I think has a lot of potential, but it has been neglected for a very long time. Sure, Niantic has added a lot of different ways for you to get hearts for your buddies, but they did not change the incentive structure for getting best buddies with your Pokemon for the past couple of years, and in my opinion, this in particular is where Niantic needs to change. There needs to be something that gives you reason to grind out best buddies with all of your Pokemon, and it should be gameplay related. Like, if you bring a best buddy to a raid, you should get a lot of different bonuses, and if you bring a best buddy to PvP, you should also get certain advantages. That's just my opinion, because right now, in terms of the grind for best buddies, it is extremely tedious, and then on top of that, you don't really get any substantial rewards for doing it. So yeah, I think this is one area I would like to see changed, and hopefully Niantic will deliver that in 2025. Next up, I would like to see a complete rework of the gym battling system. This is probably one of the most outdated forms of content in Pokemon Go, and yet it is essential for pretty much every single player. As I'm sure all of you know, gym battling is your only free-to-play source for getting Pokecoins in Pokemon Go. So It's very important that you keep up with your gym battles, but the system as it currently is just completely outdated. There's not really anything much to gym battling, it's basically just a form of mini raiding in a sense, but I really think there's a lot more they could do with this. They should definitely create a lot of different incentives outside of just collecting Pokecoins, and I really do think that for the most part, there is a lot of potential here for some really interesting and great content. And something I would definitely like to see is for them to bring back turf wars with the different team leaders. I really do think that when it comes to Team Valor, Team Mystic, and Team Instinct, it really doesn't matter what team you choose. And that was one of the best parts of the original Pokemon Go game. That was something that a lot of players actually enjoyed, so I think they should definitely bring some elements of that back. Next up, and this is another very important one, I really want them to fix up all of the issues with PvP. Yeah, PvP is one of those game modes that has so much potential, especially when it comes to endgame content, but Niantic has been neglecting it for a very long time, and I think it's about time they fix things. Because even among the professional circuit, people who are going to Worlds every single year, even they are quitting Pokemon Go's PvP scene, mainly because of all of the different server issues and just the many ways that they punish you for trying out this game mode. This is definitely something that needs to change in 2025, and I really do hope they put a lot of resources into fixing this one aspect of Pokemon Go. It would definitely do a lot of good for the game's longevity. Alright, and this one is definitely going to be a wishlist item for a majority of players, but I really do not think this is something that Niantic will ever address. But I really do think they need to unnerf remote raid passes. Yeah, this is something that players are going to continuously complain about for the next coming years, and it's mainly because of just how much Niantic swung the pendulum when they decided to nerf remote raids. I really do think this is a core aspect of Pokemon Go's raiding scene, but because of all of the changes that they did to remote raiding, it has become an absolute nightmare, and it's just way too expensive. So I really do think they need to roll back some of those changes. They need to make it so remote raid passes are not so expensive, and I also think that for the 5 remote raid limit every single day, that's something else that they could also alleviate. But yeah, it's really going to be up to them. I think at this point they need to re-look at the numbers, because what they tried to accomplish with the remote raid pass nerf is not something that I feel like they were successful at. It's just something that just became a lot more expensive. So yeah, I really do hope this is one area of the game that they do decide to change. And then finally, the one wishlist item which I believe would make a drastic improvement to Pokemon Go is to allow long distance lucky trades. This is something that I feel like should have been in the game for a very long time, because once you hit lucky friends with any of your friends, it's something that you might end up just having to sit on because you do not live near that friend. I think there's some interesting ways they could do this, like if they were to have some sort of special Pokestop that's like a trading post, that's something that they could do, or maybe they could have some sort of very long cooldown for you to be able to do a long distance lucky trade. Regardless, I feel like this is something they should look into. It would definitely be a major quality of life improvement, and it would definitely generate a lot of positivity around Pokemon Go. Oh, and before we get into the Pokemon I would like to see get added into Pokemon Go, let's talk about one more wishlist item which I almost forgot to mention, and that is the capability to delete eggs from our egg storage. I think this is one quality of life improvement that players are desperately wanting, and yeah, I think it would be a really good thing for Pokemon Go. It's definitely something Niantic should consider adding. Alright, now that we covered all of the gameplay wishlist items that I had, let's now get into some specific Pokemon and types of Pokemon that I would like to see get added into Pokemon Go. There is one particular Mega Evolution that I think a lot of players are widely anticipating, but I really do think overall there's multiple Mega Evolutions that would definitely be a game changer. First and foremost, let's talk about Mega Metagross. This is going to be 100% the absolute best steel type in the game once it gets released, and I think it's about time that we get it in Pokemon Go. Niantic has been teasing it for a very long time, just like they did with Mega Lucario, and I really do hope that in 2025, Mega Metagross finally makes its way into Pokemon Go. And then another Mega Evolution, actually, there's 2 Mega Evolutions of the same Pokemon, which I do believe deserves to be in Pokemon Go at this point, and it's probably going to be the biggest game changer Mega Evolution once it gets released, and I'm of course talking about both versions of Mega Mewtwo. I have a really strong suspicion that this is going to be the major highlighted Pokemon release of Pokemon Go Fest of 2025, but we'll just have to wait and see. I do think it's going to make a huge impact, much like what Mega Rayquaza did when that was released, and I think it's going to be something that a lot of players are going to celebrate. So yeah, those are two Mega Evolutions that I would definitely like to see get added into Pokemon Go in 2025, and I'm pretty confident that they will be. But next, let's talk about a mythical Pokemon that a lot of players have been wanting in Pokemon Go for a very long time, and it actually does not make sense that this Pokemon is still not in the game, although I do think Niantic is saving up something special for this specific Pokemon. And I'm of course talking about the God Pokemon, Arceus. This is the one Pokemon that a lot of players are wanting. It's definitely going to be a game changer. I think this one legendary Pokemon is going to be on par with some Mega Evolutions, and I do think that when this Pokemon gets released, I hope Niantic does something really special with it. There's a lot of different versions of Arceus. You could change the typing based on a specific item, but I really do not know if they're going to go down that route. They tend to go very differently from how these sort of mechanics work from the mainstream games, but at the very least, I really hope that once Arceus is finally released, it's going to be something special. And I really do hope 2025 is going to be the year that we finally get this Pokemon. Alright, now for the last two wishlist items on this video, they're basically going to be different types of Pokemon, but the first one is going to be Tera Pokémon. These are a type of Pokemon that was first introduced in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and I do think they are going to be something that will be special in Pokemon Go. I just really hope they do not go down the route of Gigantamax Pokemon and make Tera Pokémon their own thing. I would really like to see them have some sort of impact within raid battles and PvE content, maybe even in PvP as well. I think that was one of the major pitfalls with Dynamax Pokemon and Gigantamax Pokemon, in that there is no impact to other forms of gameplay outside of Dynamax battles. This is something I really hope Niantic avoids for the release of Tera Pokemon, because there's definitely a lot of potential there. And then last but not least, and I do not think this is something Niantic will actually add to Pokemon Go, but I would like to see them add a Pokemon that's going to be exclusive to Pokemon Go. And there's only one time that they kind of did this, and that was with Meltan. That was a Pokemon that when they first released it, it was basically something that they introduced through Pokemon Go, and it eventually made its way into the mainstream games. Like, back when it came out, it was incredibly special, and it was definitely an experience for Pokemon Go players, because they introduced this Pokemon specifically through Pokemon Go, and then eventually it became a staple within the Pokemon franchise. And I would like to see them do that again. It would definitely be a really cool thing for them to do in 2025, and if they were to do it, it would definitely generate a lot of buzz, not only for Pokemon Go, but for the Pokemon franchise as a whole. So yeah, these are all the things that I would like to see get added into Pokemon Go, and there are certainly some things that I would like to see a lot more than others, but overall, I think this is something that a lot of players have been sharing, and it's definitely something Niantic should consider looking into. I mean, even some of the gameplay aspects, like fixing PvP, that's stuff that should be just generally some of the things that they should be prioritizing, but stuff like, you know, a gym rework, or being able to delete eggs from your egg storage, that's all stuff that's more quality of life, and I really do hope Niantic considers implementing them, because that's definitely going to go over well with the Pokemon Go community. So yeah, that's basically all I really had to talk about. I really hope 2025 ends up being a really good year, because 2024 was just full of so many ups and downs, and as much as a lot of the ups were really good, I felt like the downs were just detrimental. So yeah, hopefully 2025 is going to be different, and it's really going to be up to Niantic, so yeah. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video. Let me know your thoughts regarding everything that I talked about in the comments down below. Is there anything in particular that you would like to see get added into Pokemon Go? If there is, make sure you share it in the comments, and let's have a great discussion. Thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of this video. Really hope you enjoyed it. My name is Count Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, love yourself, and I'll catch you in the next one.